Each and every one has its own place, and there are more than these. For example, one thing comes to mind here. Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu said, Ibn Mas'ud, the famous companion, he said, it is not possible for a person to love the Qur'an and to love music at the same time. It's not possible. So it's not something, if you really wish to memorize the Qur'an, you need to live like a Muslim. You need to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be sincere, be humble, make dua. Leave your sins, live your life by the Qur'an. Look at this beautiful statement. In fact, the actual Arabic says, one heart cannot love music and the Qur'an at the same time. This is what he said. You either have a love of the Qur'an or a love of music. And wallahi, this is so true. This is so true. You find a person who loves the Qur'an, when he hears music, he will feel weird, awkward. He doesn't want to listen to it. His heart will become, if you like, as the Qur'an says, yashma'az, it will tremble out of fear and out of hatred. Because he loves the Qur'an and he doesn't like to hear the Qur'an of shaitan. The scholars call music the Qur'an and the adhan of shaitan. This is what they call music. On the other hand, a person who loves music, he will never listen to the Qur'an as a person who loves the Qur'an does. Yeah. Music will affect him more than the Qur'an will, because he has a love for it. Until he gives up that sin and lives his life by the Qur'an, this will be a barrier for him to memorize the Qur'an. So these are spiritual preconditions if you wish to memorize the Qur'an. And there are more than these, obviously, but in my opinion, these are the main and primary ones. Easy for you. Yet another precondition is to leave your sins. Believe it or not, sins affect your memory. Sins affect your memory, especially when dealing with Islamic sciences. There is a very famous story by Imam al-Shafi'i, a narration of Imam al-Shafi'i, a very beautiful poem he narrated. He said, شَكَوْتُ إِلَى وَكِيعٍ سُوءَ حِفْظِي. I complained to Waki'. Waki' was his sheikh, was his teacher. When Shafi'i was a young person, was a teenager, he said, I complained to Waki' how weak my memory was. فَأَرْشَدَنِي إِلَى تَرْكِ الْمَعَاصِي. He advised me to leave my sins. وَقَالَ, he said to me, that the deenullah, this religion of Allah is a light. وَأَنَّ لِنُورِ اللَّهِ أَنْ يُعْطَى لِعَاصِي. And how can the light of Allah be given to a sinner? How beautiful is this poem and how powerful it is. I complained to Waki', I complained to my sheikh about the weakness of my memory. So he advised me to leave my sins. And he told me that this religion is a light of Allah. And how is it possible for this light to be given to a sinner? How is it possible for the Qur'an to be given to a sinner? So you need to leave your sins as much as possible. Obviously, we cannot leave all our sins. We're not going to become angels in this life. But we need to strive to decrease the amount of sins as much as possible. Another